Let me see you swing. Let's go. Let me see you swing. Let's go. Let me see you swing. Let's go. Let me see you swing. Chop, 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 chop,
What's up, peeps? Your boy Slim Comedian here to tell you Monday the 12th of April at 8:30 you can catch myself live alongside the one called Rudy Liquid on The Real Chat Show. Make sure you tune in. See you there.
Like that White Hitman's different. White Hitman will take notes, follow you for weeks, months. Then done you, pow pow. No witnesses, no CCTV. Black Hitman, he'll go to the biggest fucking dance of the century, innit? Wait in line with the gun, wagwan. Alright, my dog need the fish shut up.
Don't forget, keeping it real with Rudy Liquid. Tell them
me on
Jah
this song.
messenger.
It was a cassette. You know when you had to put the pencil in between into the hole. Yes, man.
To submit to you as a man or a woman, or do I continue to walk the righteous path and serve God? That's a personal, individual choice. As a Christian, you know, my Christian beliefs are they're very strong, and I'm not going to violate my relationship with God to please another human being.
But straight away, black, red flag, phone community, why are we the guinea pigs now?
Accountable.
I feel like when you are speaking up for yourself, it should be unapologetic and it should be honest. I think that we all.
So, for example, the West Indian community, there are many reasons why they may not, and you can probably tell me more than I know. But I think part of it is that they're being asked to trust the same structures that have also contributed to their discrimination, their abuse, their trauma.
But in Ubuntu, we have programs that kind of look at identity, raising self-esteem, looking at our history.
Often when you watch the news and stuff, everyone's talking about race. And I'm just thinking, well, there's more than that. I know just having no dad and having to work out what it means to be a black man in the UK was a very, very difficult.
And if you ain't got enough to do it in your family, get 2 or 3 families together and start a business. We've got to be thinking like that now, because unemployment is going to be rife throughout our community now.
If she's saying pie, that means that 8:15 is gone, man. Oi. Good morning, everybody. Morning. How are we doing?
Grand Risings.
I guess Grand Risings is the word. Please allow me to introduce you to the panel, one and all. In the middle, we have got Juicy Julie.
Good morning, everyone. Morning.
Blessing us with his guns, we've got Aston Metaphor Jones.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the arms go up, man. I thought,
wow.
Blessing us with those guns.
Magnificent.
And try to keep up with him underneath you. Yes, they did.
That's it.
Actually,
greetings.
And, she had us up bright and early this morning, Coach Astrid. How are we doing, Coach Astrid?
I'm good, thank you. Vitalised and ready for the day.
Absolutely.
You're I should call you Australia, because they always say good day. They're always. Whenever I think of an Australian, I think of dressing up in orange or yellow or a bright colour.
Bright colour, yeah.
Yellow and green.
Yeah.
That's Jamaican.
Oh, God.
No, Jamaican is black, gold and green.
Don't even let that. Rudy and his Jamaicans. Whoa.
No, what do you mean? I am not Jamaican.
Know you're not Jamaican.
I am not Jamaican.
You go out of your way to tell us. Yeah.
I don't go out of my way.
I'm an African, not a Jamaican.
I think the Jamaicans go out of their way to let everybody know that they're Jamaican, and they tell everybody that they're Jamaican. And Jamaica do this, and Jamaica do that, and you're a small island, really. You're a small island, really.
Yeah, one of them.
Jamaica can
see, just put some Jamaican flags up. Come on.
Yes, I can see them all coming together. Look at them.
Come on, Trevor. Where's your flags, man? Come on.
They're there, man. Them look disgust me. They disgust me. At least they got something to watch.
My dad's from Barbados, so I really appreciated Wednesday seeing Jimmy. So
okay.
I have to represent. Yeah, man. I'm feisty from the Jamaican side, and I will cut you with my cutlass on the Bajan side.
I like I like where George is going. No, early small island ting. I hear you. Bless George. King George in the room, man. Good morning, man.
Morning, George.
Morning, George. Yeah, King George is here, man, as well as Mummy T is in the room. Morning, Carol.
Yes, good morning, Carol.
Morning. Veronica.
Oh, Veronica's here as well. Verona's here.
Right.
Yes, Verona. Good morning, Verona. All the way in
Hello,
Birmingham.
Brommy. Yay.
All the way in Birmingham. Supporting Birmingham, innit?
Yay.
Oh,
I don't
Trevor's
know.
in the room. Good morning, Trevor.
Well, it has been quite a week, but before we get into it, man, how are we feeling about the 12th? The 12th is round the corner. And the shops will be opening, or at least they should be. The shops should be opening. So we should see all those shutters that has now got paint scribbled all over them. You know what I mean? People been paint spraying them. They've been closed for so long. But they're going to be drawing up the bridge, and hopefully the streets should get back to normal. How are you guys feeling about that? How are you guys?
Excited.
I think that depends on what town you live in.
Yeah.
Because our town don't have no shops to open. Them gone. We have charity shop. We have a job centre, and we have a book.
So we're talking Hertfordshire, yeah?
That's right. That's right. Hatfield town is completely dead. When I say dead,
That's a
I don't
shame.
know how we're going to rejuvenate this town. There is absolutely nothing apart from a supermarket, a Simmons, and you know, one and two little things. But charity shops, there's nothing else apart from charity shops out here. And there's no Peacocks. New Look is gone. The card shop's gone. It's all gone.
Oh no.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I feel it's going to be the market stalls, isn't it? People going to start building from market stalls.
We've got we do have a Wednesday and a Saturday market.
That's it. That's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be, isn't it? You build from somewhere, you know?
Yeah, that's my plan. I've already kind of spoke to a couple shopkeepers and secured my pitch. So I know that I'll be out there definitely on the market. That's where I started as a child at Camden Market when I was younger. So I'm not scared to be out there early mornings and do what I got to do. But yeah, we need to rejuvenate this town somehow. It's very depressing.
You can't just roll over and just say, you know what, boy, gone it. No.
Yeah, we've just started a little.
Life goes on. Find a way how to supply.
I don't think people are just rolling over, in all honesty, because as much as we talk about furlough, the government was issuing a hell of a lot of loans at the time. Money was kind of like cheap to get hold of. The bigger companies took advantage. I wouldn't say took advantage. I mean, rightfully so. If you're in a position to obtain some free money, why not? I would say, but I don't think people are just rolling over as such. It's just that most people are a week away from bankruptcy. The same with businesses in that respect. You know, you're waiting for the money to come in so as that you can chase the bills, which is something that we're all trying to get away from. But as you said, I mean, lockdown has given people the opportunity to pivot. You know, and I do believe we've all pivoted one way or the other. But
what I'm hoping though is that people don't go out there and rush and buy.
Yes.
Understand? Right? Because let's face facts. Business has been terrible for the last year and a half now, right? And the thing is that people are gonna say, all right, then look, I would like to offer something, but I can't offer much. You understand? So you can pick and choose what you really need, and them type of things there. And I think that a lot of people have cut their cloth to suit them now. You understand? Gonna be going out there rush by and everything, like how the media is anticipating. You know, I don't.
There's
think it's
definitely
gonna
going to be people that will do that though, Aston. It doesn't matter what you say.
There will be. But you know, it's just my advice. What I'm just giving out.
No, I think it's damn good advice because you know, everybody was living on credit. The moment the credit card was kind of like introduced, because I think the credit card didn't really come in until like the late 80s, right? Where all of a sudden readily available. Where all of a sudden there was all this credit that was available to people. So, you know, it is about thinking about what, because lockdown, like I said, I realized that I could live on a lot less because I was no longer earning the kind of money that I was earning. Yeah. But I found that I could actually live on a lot less because as Biggie Small says, the more money, the more problems.
The more problems.
You know, just because you're earning more money doesn't mean all of a sudden you know, I mean, that bottle, you used to buy a bottle of wine for £4 or £5. Yeah, you start earning money. The bottle of wine now is costing £13, £14.
Don't taste much better.
So
No,
it
still tastes like vinegar.
I hear you, but I mean, I think your point is valid in the sense of what do I really need?
Yeah.
As opposed to what do I want?
But I always ask people, do you spend money or do you use money? I use money. I think if you change the way you actually think about money, it changes what you do with it.
True.
Yeah,
actually, I'm allowing that to sink in.
No, I think that's a fair thing to sink in. But then, I mean, I did go on your. You know, I'm. It's not that I'm stalking you. All right, natural.
Feel free.
Yeah. But you know, it is those little things that we say when we say, like, you know, live for today, live in the moment, right? And when you do think that way, then you will even look at money in that way. You know what I mean? That's true. It is the case of if you have it, and I can't disagree. But what I am trying to say though is that there are people who will live for just for the week. Do you know what I mean? So they will spend it all for the week. They won't put that 10% aside.
Absolutely.
And put it somewhere else because me nah, you know what? We can go and get knocked down tomorrow. So I'm gonna spend it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I do get that. I think I look at it from both sides. I used to be that person in regards to I see it, I want it, I'm gonna go get it. And it didn't matter what it costed, whether it was a car, whether it was a house, whether it was that £100 pair of shoes. It didn't make, for me, it was, I was unwell, let's keep it real, and I used shopping as a way to heal, which in turn made me more unwell because I now had to pay that credit card bill. So it's not until you get fed up of that cycle, that's when you kind of go dash with a credit card. If I don't have the cash and I don't physically need it, then I'm not buying it. I'm not. We are the biggest spenders, which we full well know in all areas of life.
In all areas.
And if I'm gonna stick to my principles that I've now found and my morals in regards to circulating my black pound, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense.
Yeah, I want to know where, you know, I want to make sure I spend it wisely now. I've declared bankruptcy before I was 30. I don't think anybody wants to experience that. So that's why I said my relationship with money and finances, it had to change. It wasn't about the latest car. It wasn't about the latest garms. It really isn't. I feel I'm earning less now. This is like the least amount I've ever earned in my entire life. And that's because I'm in that entrepreneurial stage where I'm generating my own income. And it feels so good to actually be able to do that, to be quite honest with you. And it feels good when I go out and I've got an extra tenner in my purse because I actually really earn it. Until you get
it's 100% that you've earned it. But what I like is the way in which the verbal conversational exchange starts taking place. Like, you know, I mean, the strap lines of spending the black pound. Those words are starting to fall into our vocabulary. Do you know what I mean? Keeping the money within the community, which was conversations that we used to have, but they were in the passage or amongst friends. But it's becoming common conversation, if you get what I mean. Which is kind of like showing that there's some sort of change that is going about. George is saying to us that the only thing me I rush out and buy is bread, milk, and eggs. George, I know you're not on the bread line, so don't bother give it up. All right, we damn well know them not depend the bread line. No sir, no sir. But then Mummy T is also saying, irrespective of the fact that shops etc. may be opened, yeah. She mentioned somewhere earlier on about having to travel. Yeah, having to travel. Where is it? What is it? She says.
Yeah, she wants to go to Devon.
Yeah, to get and might harass me. As them say, it's not
called,
essential.
It's called. It's pronounced Turated. Okay.
Turated.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Jamaicans call it cool.
Yeah, I personally, in regards to the non-essential travel, that's a matter of the other person's opinion. However, I think there's a lot of people who have been on their own, as in isolation, on their own, and for their well-being and for them to reclaim some of that mental health, we're going to need to just travel. We're going to need to go and see at least one other person in our world that isn't our nearest and dearest. I think that's just going to be inevitable.
Well, that's why I guess that's why when you say essential, it's every individual's point of view of what essential is.
Yes.
So I guess it's going to be a case of if you do decide to make that journey, you know, being able to justify it. You know, I mean, I wouldn't let nothing stop me if I'm going to do what I'm going to do, because I'm always prepared to pay the consequences of my own actions. Do you know what I mean?
You might need that bread and cheese then that George is coming to. Yeah, you might need that. Because that's what people were frightened of, being fined and being. I remember my nephew went to visit my brother on his birthday, and he got stopped by the police. And this is in Birmingham. Got stopped by the police, and the police said, "Where are you going?" And he said, "I'm going to see my dad." And he just went, "Well, is it essential?" He said, "Well, is your dad essential to you?" And then he just carried on. He just got out of his car and carried on. I got out of his car, literally outside, and just got and carried on. He said, "I'm going to see my dad. If your dad's not essential, then fine, but mine is." And he carried on.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Good on him. Good on him. Good on him.
Yeah, put it into perspective. Yes, man.
Yeah. But so you have to have that level of confidence, because you know some people were stopped and they're like, oh, I'm not going to say that I've gone anywhere that I'm not supposed to.
Is it? So you didn't
in the last year.
You didn't visit. You didn't visit him because you had those needs. You didn't visit him. You just kind of like went, you know.
No, I'm just talking about people in general, not anything specific, just anyone. So if I felt the need, that person was essential to me, so I went. And you just have to be really mindful, because actually, in people have become prisoners in their own house, and that's a really sad affair, because we're humans and humans need interaction. And actually what they've done is stifle people's well-being by saying stay locked in. Lots of elderly people, I volunteer 1 day a week with the elderly, and they're going, "Oh, don't come too far, stay where you are." I'm like, what?
It's so sad. To me that is sad when I hear that, because I know where the narrative is coming from. And it's been, I mean, the news has been pounding that into everybody's head. It's really been pounding it. You know what I mean? You're protecting the NHS by social distancing. Just that line alone.
Foolish.
You know what I mean?
Impact, yeah.
It has and it's all by design. It's not because, you know, I don't think. Well, this is my personal view starting to come out. You know what I mean? But it's not about the health side of things. But then at the same time, I was talking to my brother's care coordinator only yesterday, and he's severely. I didn't really want to go down this line, but we have to because it's still in the air. He's severely hit by the COVID virus, and he's been hit by it twice, and he's taken the vaccine.
Wow.
Really? Interesting.
Yes, that's what I mean. And he has taken the vaccine. You know, so, you know, it's not as though it's really halted this situation.
Well, it doesn't. Does it?
It's not gonna. It's to me, and I know people might shout me down for this, but to me, it's no different to having a cold and having the flu virus. It doesn't stop you from getting the flu. It just supposedly stops it from being as bad.
Which is true.
It's the same thing.
But then the thing is that
vaccine, not virus.
Yeah, the vaccine. But then
vaccine. Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man. That's cool. We all understand one another.
Yeah.
But then as we're starting to see the fallout is starting to happen now, which is one of the reasons why I kind of myself personally was, taking my time. You know, I mean, you can lead us with this. Is it Astrid?
No, it's myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just I have a daughter who's under the age of 30, and she's a specialist care worker, and they've been pressurising her to take the vaccine, and she just said, I'm not sure. She just kept saying, I'm not sure. I haven't had any children. I don't know what you're doing with my DNA. And so she just said, I'm going to be really apprehensive. And so then when you hear this, that child jabs are being halted, although they were doing this massive surge in saying schools need to be, lots of people were saying they're not getting consent from parents. But it was tested. Was it 300 adults had got?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you don't mind, I don't mind reading some of this because I found it quite interesting myself. A trial of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID vaccine on children has stopped giving out jabs while the UK medicines regulators investigate a possible link with rare blood clots in adults. Professor Andrew Pollard from the University of Oxford. Who's calling me at this time in the morning? Oh, wifey. Do you want to take over, Astrid? I mean, Julie.
Yeah. So it's about how there's a rare blood clots, but also to saying that can impact on people who are under 30. And then what's been happening this week is the news have been saying, no, it's safe. Don't worry about it. This is just a few people. But if you've got a trial and 300 people, that's a significant number.
Exactly.
You've exhibited a rare, not a common, a rare blood clot. That gives you reason for concern. That gives lots of people reason for. And so there are people who've taken the vaccine, had really difficult symptoms from it and repercussions from it. And just as Rudy was saying about his brother, there's lots of people that have taken the vaccine with view to thinking that it would make them better. But actually now that so many people have taken the vaccine, they start coming out with the contradictions, which should have happened right at the beginning. Oh, there might be a rare blood clot, there might be this, you might have that, but they wait until half the population has taken it and say, oh, hold on, if we give it to the under 30s, there might be the risk of. And that's really...
But then what about the fact that they actually give you COVID? Within the vaccine, they are giving you COVID.
Isn't that like any vaccine? So even with the flu, they had to give you to begin with, they gave you the live culture. And now they've got because the whole thing around science and medical and pharmaceuticals, they give you the live culture and then make it synthetic, so that the flu vaccine is now a synthetic synthetic thing of the, I don't know what the word is, but it's definitely synthetic. So currently they've got to inject you with the virus because...
So this is what I mean. So this is my point, is that they're actually giving the population the actual virus that they're trying to... I know they say, it's like
building antibodies.
Yeah, when a snake bites you, and then they still have to use some of the poison in order to assist your immune system. But when you think about it, they've literally spread the vaccine throughout the whole of the globe. Yeah, a virus that nobody actually had at one point, apart from a certain amount of people. Yeah, and if we're going to accept that really and truly it affected less than 1% of the entire global population, this thing has been spread, right, by the powers that be. I mean, they're saying that the two vaccines developed by Oxford, right, be it Pfizer or AstraZeneca. Yeah, the trust regulators, AC Vaccine Safety Johnson says AstraZeneca is there a blood clot risk? They were asked that question. They couldn't really answer it.
Yeah, and they have indemnities, don't they? Before the vaccine was distributed, they have indemnities so that you can't sue them. I mean, why wouldn't you tell me what the contradictions are if I can't sue you? So let me be informed as to what things can happen, because you're actually saying we can't sue you. They've got nothing to lose. They still don't want to tell people what's going on. But now, as I said before, because half the population in the UK have taken it, yeah, there's reason for concern, because it's not a good place currently, because it's made, for me, I think those who have already taken the vaccine question why. Not all, just some.
No, and the worst thing about it for me was the people who actually questioned it, either and these were clinicians and these were specialists who actually lost their jobs or either were locked up, or they were told that they are right-wing people, or they were told that they're Bible bashers.
Bible bashers, yeah, that thing.
Yeah, it was the way in which they turned the narrative on them, which is what really got my goat, to be honest with me. No alternative medicine was allowed to be seen, because as far as I'm concerned, they want us to think in a westernized point of view that only they have the answers. Nobody else can have the answers. They govern everything. They know exactly what is right from wrong, or what is best for everybody on the planet. Nobody's allowed to think outside of the box, but at the same time, they want you to think outside of the box. I mean, I want you to look at also some of the fallouts of all of this from the approach that was taken, the things that are not spoken about. I mean, here, it's talking about every other advert will be for gambling because of the addiction. The addiction has come about because nobody was able to go out. Exactly. There was very little that people could actually do, and this gambling is seen as another form of disease that people have.
Yeah.
There are so many different ways.
The disease of the mind, isn't it? Because it actually plays on your psyche and gets you to a point where you don't have any rationale. You just keep. And I had this friend saying, "Oh well, I used to spend this on travel, and I used to spend this on buying clothes, so I'm okay to spend this money." And you're like, "Well, why are you not holding that money and saving that money, or using it, waiting for something more, worthwhile?" Well, if I win, if I get the lottery, if I'm like, whoa, it's a really sad place. Yeah,
it is like that.
It's so easy to do. I think that's what it is as well. I've never been a gambler. It's not in my nature to take that kind of financial risk. However, I have been in the odd fish and chip shop or the odd pub, and they've got one of those lovely flashy fruit machines in the corner. And I am one of those people. I did get lucky. Yeah, I had literally I think back in the day it was 50p a spin or 20p a spin. So we're talking quite some time ago. And I had about £2.50 in my pocket. So I thought, So I slapped it in the machine. These times I've got no petrol in my car. I've got no money for the rest of the week. I've got the £2.50. I shouldn't even be laughing. But the jackpot on the machine was £57.
Come on.
And I did win the jackpot. But I was taught at that point, you see, when you win, walk away. Don't try and get the jackpot again, because I just emptied the machine. So I've actually got to wait now for the machine to be filled up again before there's actually a jackpot in there.
And guess who's going to fill it up?
Not me. No, I literally went straight to the petrol station. I filled up my tank. Got a few groceries and kind of waited for payday. But I do find that it can be so dangerous to take that type of risk. Even with a small amount, there are other things that we can do to have a more, stress-free, risk-free way of living. It's the buzz, though. It's the lights, man. It's the lights.
Yeah, and then people get into debt, and then you get the loan sharks. You will get those. What are they? The
payday loans.
Payday loans. That's it. The Provident. Back in the day, with the really high APRs for people.
And they target council estates or housing associations or people who live in social housing. They target people like that because, you know, even those park Christmas clubs where they say, you know, put your money here for the whole year.
Yeah,
and then
for the whole year. Let us invest
Yeah.
your money for the whole year.
Yeah.
Make lots of money, and then you pay more to spend your money.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, I
And,
can
and
imagine.
a little tip as well is that because you can have access to some court information, they can actually go to the courts for those who are having county court judgments and all that kind of thing, and go to those people as well.
Whoa.
If those people have got
So those who've
themselves
got
into that kind of
CCJs?
debt,
Yeah.
then hang on a minute, why are you now offering them loans and goodness knows what else?
Well, I know that. I remember
That's
listening.
not ethical.
No, it's not.
Not ethical.
And I do remember the government actually mentioning that and wanting to clamp down on it. The fact that they have actually taken steps to do so. But when you consider now that the gambling companies are going to be sponsoring the likes of the NHS.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, I mean that's where their money's going to be going now. It's going to be actually
You might
going.
as well just put the cigarette companies back on the sporting events because that's what they stopped years ago. It's like, how can we promote smoking at sporting events? It kind of doesn't go hand in hand. So now we've got what we're going to have, you know, certain alcoholic beverages sponsoring the NHS because obviously that's a problem as well. Because in my shops locally, it wasn't just toilet paper that had disappeared; it was alcohol. I was actually stunned that the alcohol shelves were being cleared week after week.
Yeah, but then it's another case though, isn't it? Of people who are locked away, they're forced to stay inside. Like you said earlier on, you know, when you're starting to feel a little bit down or a little bit depressed or whatever, you do start to spend.
Yeah.
And it's the online, anyone who's online, you know, I mean, these people are making millions now. Out of this situation. As much as the high street is decimated, business is still going on.
Thriving, yeah.
Yeah. If you want a delivery driver job, you know, everybody is literally recruiting. that's
what happened at the beginning of lockdown, isn't it? All the pilots, they became drivers, and it was not that they needed the money, they were just bored, they just wanted to do something
to do.
Yeah.
As my mum always used to say to me, the devil finds work for idle hands.
I think the devil is at work. I think the devil is at work. We are now in his playground. You know, and that's even, and I'm even saying that from a spiritual point of view. That I think that's what's at work here, because I don't believe what's going on is for the sake of humanity. You know, I don't know. You know, why would God throw down a virus that's going to destroy everything? But then I think he would be questioned all the time. You know,
I do think that there is a bit of a revelation in that sense where, you know, certain things have to come to an end. Like we are literally fulfilling prophecy, if you wanted to sort of be biblical. And unfortunately, you know, if you read the Bible from the front to the back, it's not very pleasant reading because it ends with revelation. But if you read it from the back to the front and know that we're living in times of revelation, and then go back to sort of towards Genesis, if you want to look at it like that, means it's a bit of a rebirth. That means there's a lot of bad things coming to an end, and out of that darkness there will be light. So it's a different way, a different perspective. I actually only recently started reading the Bible from the back to the front and realized, oh, this is where we are now, if that's the case then. So what happens in the beginning?
I never thought about that. I'm going to start doing that now.
Yeah, it doesn't make it feel like it's such a disaster at the end, because we're actually living in a disaster. So therefore something good must come out of it. Yeah, reading towards Genesis, that, you know, back to the beginning, if that makes sense, then you know, we as a race of humans, or the globe itself, is on some sort of reset. And I think this is a reboot. I think this is a reboot. But I do believe that we've been stifled when it's come to that reboot, in the sense that when alternatives was put forward, i.e., let's go back to the herbs, let's go back to the washout, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, we were told, nah, you lot don't know
Nah.
you lot don't know what you're talking about.
We were told that, but who actually listened? See, I'm one of them rebellious folk. Do you know what I mean? As soon as they tell me to not do something, I'm just like, well, okay, let's give that a go for myself. I want to eliminate that for myself. I'm not having anyone kind of tell me what I can't do. And I've been on medication for a long time. I think this is what really kind of just put the nail in the coffin for me, is that when they gave me medication, they didn't cure me for what I went in for. I just came out with 3 other ailments that I didn't have before.
Yeah.
So you can keep your man-made drug. Thank you very much, because you've now given me additional problems that I never would have had if you hadn't given me the first drug. Yeah.
And then they go into, and then it becomes a chase, because they start upping your dosage, or they start introducing other medicines, or you know what I mean, to go and chase that one, to sort that one out, you know.
The true essence of the world in the global sense, which has always been my viewpoint, is you can't run over to Mars or Venus and go, can I borrow a bag of sugar because I've run out? So all the resources are here, you know. So before the synthetic world of the pharmaceuticals, we've always had the world's resources. So we were treating ourselves for a very long time. But in actual fact, I always say to when I used to be teaching, what is the essence of science? To mimic nature and to reproduce nature. And that's all they do.
But yes, I agree, 100. And the idea that man thinks that he can become God is a killer. I mean, we've got chemtrails, it's where they're trying to control the weather. That's all that is. I mean, why would you want to try and control the weather? I mean, from colonialism, we've seen the destruction of places like Kenya, because the Brits went over there and decided that they were going to mash up the land and make tea. And it was because of tea. So the thing is that the soil couldn't replenish itself. Do you know what I mean?
We didn't keep that traditional way of farming, which is what we were taught when we were at primary school. You know, that field over there's got wheat, that field there's got corn, that one have barley, and that one is empty, and they used to call it farrow or something.
Farrow land. That's
farrow land.
For a whole year.
Yeah,
and then you would swap around. And
that's right.
Field
swap the crop.
Yeah,
that's right. I mean, if we know, they taught us that this is the thing. So if you're teaching us this, why are you not implementing it? Why are you not actually doing it?
Because when you make genetically modified foods, it's cheaper and you get more in abundance. I mean, when was the last time you honestly can say to me that you tasted a real tomato from one of the major retail outlets, whether it be Sainsbury's, whether it be Asda, whether it be any one of them shop there? Where you have
that will never happen.
I don't buy my fruit in
happen.
Supermarkets.
Well, one of the times I was in Ghana, and I was with my mother, Africa. Yeah, we was driving in the car, and she stopped and she bought a whole bowl of tomatoes, right? The plum tomatoes. Obviously, they grow their things with natural out there, right? And we was in the car, and I said, "Let me just taste one of these things," right? I remember we got say 3 bagfuls of tomatoes out there, and by the time we got back to the home, which was about an hour away, we only had 2 bagfuls left.
Because it's sweet, isn't it? Quite sweet.
They taste sweet.
It's really nice.
You know when you taste something, you will never taste that thing again. Anything after that is just wrong. The skin was thick. The whole meat of the fruit was beautiful, man. I tell you.
I was in Cyprus about 5 years ago, and I didn't realize that I hadn't had a proper drink of orange juice. Yeah.
Yes,
Listen, blood. When I tell you. When I tell you, I did OD on this orange juice,
alcohol.
OD, proper OD. My tongue was yellow. I tell you know, I was guzzling this thing like, wow, when we go back to England, and now I get this again, you know, but now I get this again.
No.
And
you
I OD'd on the OJ, man. I was like, I couldn't believe, and that's when it really dawned on me that you know, because I remember when they were introducing GM crops. Do you know what I mean? And it was all for the likes of McDonald's, and those kind of companies, because McDonald's is not just what we see on the high street. McDonald's is about is about property, and it's also about investment in farming, because they want the whole distribution chain. When they talk about business, they're talking about the whole distribution chain from beginning to end.
Yes,
you know, that's how
everything.
That's how they that's how they invest when it comes
this
to
actually this started with milk. It's really strange that if you remember, we used to get milk from local dairy farms in bottles, glass bottles. And as soon as milk became mass produced, as in wholesale, you can buy it in a vat and basically put any label on the bottle. I was working for a distribution company at the time, and the cow farmers or the milk farmers actually protested outside of a lot of distribution warehouses because they selling their milk. Just pour it down the drain. They just said, well, if you don't want to buy it for 57 pence a litre and sell it for, we're not giving it to you. And they just opened all the vats and they poured gallons and gallons and gallons.
I remember that. I actually remember that.
No, I do.
I remember that. But the thing is, what was happening was that the retailers started squeezing the farmers. They were squeezing them. They were squeezing them. And it was Tetra Paks. When Tetra Pak was introduced, which helped the milk, giving it a longer life. Remember, you used to have that long life milk. There was long life milk that used to be on the shelves as well. I mean, some of the food that we're eating that's coming out of the supermarket are actually 6 months old. They've been sitting in warehouses.
Absolutely.
Waiting.
So I used to work in one. So yes.
Is it? So it's not like, you know, I like where we're coming from. We're coming from I'm not saying, you know, we're not talking about being scientists and what have you, but we're talking about people who've lived on the planet, and we're talking from world experience, right? Which I'm guessing that there's a lot of people in the comments section who are also doing the same thing, but you're not allowed to follow your nature and listen to your consciousness. Yeah, which is one of the reasons why I thought, you know, we should allow spirituality to get involved in the conversation as well.
You know, one of the things that I really have this thing in my head about is that when they make food specifically for children, then they come out a few years later when they've done their research and, you know, their analytical look on it, that those food products, right, have no nutritional value in any way whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then like some of them are actually banned from certain countries. Like in America, it's not every, you know, America is pretty bad as it is, but there's a lot of foods which are actually banned in America, right? Because that is like the artificially produced food center of the world. You understand? So
well, I recall when Red Bull was withdrawn from the shelves, and I used to guzzle Red Bull. Don't look at me like that, Coach. I used to guzzle it. I was like, it's 2:00 in the morning. I got to stay up, and I'm driving back to London. I'm driving back to London. I'm kind of like wired, kind of like thing, but There are a lot of foods that you know.
There's a lot of things out there that is so wrong. If anybody has been like addicted to those things, and it is an addiction, because I used to watch my people when I used to go to work at 7:00 in the morning, and they've got a Red Bull already on the go.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding me. You just had a breakfast, right? And you've had like 3-4 cups of coffee already, and then
you've had a Prozac.
Prozac, whatever.
How many people got through university studies on Prozac?
Prozac, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the children, the schools had to ban energy drinks, didn't they? Because a lot of secondary age
it was so
were
bad.
bringing like them, even cheaper versions with them. I think it was Boost or something like that.
£6 for a pound.
Yeah.
So cheap.
They've got them there now. Monster. Most of the top.
Yeah, Monster was the other one as well.
Shelf.
Oh.
Yeah. You got most of that top shelf there.
I'll have to share my story about Monster.
Look at that.
We'll go ahead.
My story about Monster was I used to travel up and down. I was an IQA, and I used to travel up and down and standardise.
Sorry, you said you just used an acronym. I didn't understand. IQA.
Oh, internal quality assessor. So I assessed people's qualifications and standardised them. So I was travelling up and down, and I arrived in Stapleford the one morning, and I was really tired. And one of the tutors that were there said, "Oh, I'll give you this drink, Julie." And I went, "Okay." And I didn't know what it was, and it was a Monster. So I drank it, and I was like, "Ooh." and my daughter was 12 or 13 and had her first sleepover. So she had a sleepover, and lots of children. There was like 4 or 5 children. 2 of them were white, 2 of them black. Come to my house, stayed over, and it's a Friday night. And Julie is still rocking off this Monster that I'd had about 10 o'clock.
Oh,
so it's now, I don't drink fizzy drinks, and it's full of sugar. So I'm like, come on, everybody.
Clap your hands. Oh, looking good.
Why don't we play a game?
It won't take long.
And these poor little girls are going, is your mum always like this? And my daughter's going, please, mum, go to bed. Please, I'll help you. Like, one and only time with Monster. I had to phone him and wonder, what did you give me to drink? And he went, oh, it was a Monster. And I went, never again. Never again. Never touched it since. She still remembers. I think she was traumatized by it because Julie's like, what? Imagine I'm naturally like this. And then I got Monster on top of it. Like, whoa, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like,
that is.
A friend of mine was actually, she was hospitalized. She was having heart palpitations.
Wow.
Exactly. Just remember, anything that glows fluorescent, forget it.
It look pretty. Right.
Yeah. It's not to be consumed.
I think it's quite interesting in terms of what George has actually put there, because there are so many vegans out there, and they're actually trying to do the right thing, but yet fall unaware that. Not so much unaware, but when you consider that the food itself is coming from a synthetic place.
Yes.
Grow your own.
The thing is, right, we I know we always talk about like foods and things, the herbs that we used to take, like what was used in the West Indies, and obviously the transition to the Carib, to the UKK. And we got just the essence of what was going on back there. But remember that a lot of these herbs are only potent when they're fresh, when they're live, you know?
Yeah.
Even though we try to simulate the same thing when we take up like dried herbs, right? We only get a minuscule of the potency of what those things can actually do, you know? So, in other words, as I've always had this thought as well. Again, like years ago, if we're going to heal ourselves, we're going to have to go to the source of where we can get the healing.
Absolutely.
You know?
No, I think you got to be careful about what you put in your body, because anything.
Yeah.
My daughter's constant Snapchat. She's lying in her ridiculous.
After having a tin of Monster, I'm not surprised.
Awful. Apologise for my daughter's constant Snapchat. She's lying in her ridiculous. Thankfully for me, I don't have Snapchat.
I have to make a little confession there. On Sunday we was out with the missus, you know, and just out for a little like drive and thing. Stopped off in Blackheath, and there's a CPD shop, right? So I just wanted a coffee, right? We just wanted a coffee, you know. And I got in there, and they give us a talk about this CBD, I think it's CPD or whatever. And they said, yeah, CBD, yeah. And then but it's like without the hallucinatory stuff. And I said, yeah, I got
Go on, Aston.
Just give me a coffee.
This is better than my monster story. Go on.
And I said to the missus, my missus, she don't take none of them things. She don't smoke or not or anything like that. And I was surprised that she said, yeah, okay, Dave. And then she come out at the coffee and everything, and we're in the car, and we're drinking the coffee and thing. And then went and drove. Right, a few hours later, gone home. And I said to her, did you get any effects with that? She goes, no. Okay then. Right. And then the only thing I can think of is that I was up a little bit later than usual. Right? But at the same time, I didn't really want to do anything. And it just brought me right back to the time that I was staying in Maastricht, and I was under the smoking influence then. And I thought, wow, am I so susceptible now?
I think we're all susceptible one way or the other, because even this is on a subliminal level when you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, George is joking when he says, "I'm drinking rum and Red Bull," because we know who all sang that tune. Yeah. But when you think about it, you know, when things like this are being endorsed by personalities,
let me join George.
Yeah. Because that's one of the first things that they do. They will get the corporate corporate companies do get hold of celebrities to endorse whatever products they think is going to be profitable. I think is the best way to put it. You know, so there's a lot of subliminal advertising going on. I think you've got to be either really awoke or having a strong mind. Just to do the right thing nowadays. And I'd just like to remind everybody that in the next 2 minutes we will be moving across to YouTube as we start to approach the hour. All right. Okay. So bear that in mind, that if you are in Facebook and you wish to continue with us for another 20 minutes or so, that you will need to step across to Facebook, to YouTube, to join us. Has somebody got their phone on, or is it me?
It's got to be you again, isn't it?
Is it me? The thing is that I did actually change up my earphones. You know what I mean? I got some. Just went and spent some extra cash that I didn't have. It was one of those. It was one of those. Shopping. Is it? No, it wasn't online. This was it.
Well done.
Yeah, I was actually on street. And I came out of the train station, and I must have walked about 200 yards, and I spent 70 quid. I was like, how did I do that?
That's what the physical presence does to you when you're shopping. You're just like, oh, and.
Yeah,
you know?
it was.
I'm terrible. I'm terrible for that. I am terrible for that.
I can't stand shopping.
My daughter says, have a list, and I say, yeah. And by the time I get through all the rows of the shops, I've got a basket full. So, you know, I say it go.
I like some of the points that are being made here, because we're talking about celebrity endorsement, and remember when they used all the MPs? All the MPs came trundling out, and then they got all the celebrities after that to come trundling out. You know, to convince us as one that this is what's been good for you. And then, you know, straight up the off, we're seeing now that there's clotting in people's system. It's a weird one, but we are going to be making that transition from Facebook to YouTube. All right, so we're going to say goodbye to everybody on Facebook. We're off.
Thanks everyone.
Ciao.
Amazing.
Okay, and we'll just have a quick
15 minutes with DJ Countryman and Rudy Liquid. Saturday morning mayhem.
Morning, darling.
Hey everyone. Hey, entertainment heavyweight.
Come on, telephone. Come on. Turn off the telephone.
Join them with interviews.
What's that word? Debonair.